Welcome to the Robotics Through Science Fiction podcast. I'm Robin Murphy, and in this episode, in honor of the Kilauea volcanic eruption in Hawaii, I will review Dante's Peak, the 1997 disaster movie starring Pierce Brosnan, Linda Hamilton, and a robot named Spiderlegs. Spiderlegs is a surprisingly accurate rendition of a static walker style of robot, and just like other static walkers, it breaks at the worst possible moment. Dante's Peak is a big-budget disaster movie where Pierce Brosnan and his team of USGS scientists are in the Pacific Northwest. A Mount St. Helens look-alike volcano threatens the bucolic town where Linda Hamilton is the mayor and the owner of the local coffee shop. There's not a lot of suspense because we know that Pierce and Linda will become an item, none of her kids will die, and her grumpy ex-mother-in-law will get her comeuppance. The first half of the movie is setting up for the disaster, and then there's a whole lot of locomotion going on. The characters take cars, SUVs, helicopters, and boats in order to crash, swerve, or sink as they flee the volcano. But while the humans do a lot of driving, the really cool form of locomotion is walking. And that's because the real star of the movie is the robot Spiderlegs, who walks its way down the volcano. The robot shows up 6 minutes into the movie to assure us that these are top scientists, so that when Pierce Brosnan goes all frowny face and no one believes him that the volcano is gonna blow, we know in our hearts that Brosnan is right. The robot aspect of the movie is actually realistic in 4 major ways. 1. The motivation to use a robot. It is reasonable for volcanologists to use ground robots to go into places that are too dangerous for them. More correctly, they probably would use robots if they could afford said robots. Most of the volcanologists seem to be using robots that are either from NASA or a research university in Japan or the US. A friend with robot benefits? In real life, aerial and marine robots are used as well. And by the way, if you're wondering about NASA and volcanoes, NASA sees a volcano and says, "Oh, look, that's just like a cliff on Mars." So there's a 2-for-1. NASA learns to make better planetary rovers, and the volcanologists get the data safely. The second realistic way is locomotion. Spiderlegs looks and moves suspiciously like Dante and Dante 2, the 2 robots built by Carnegie Mellon University for NASA. They repelled into a volcano. On the other hand, Spiderlegs seems disappointingly clunky compared to Big Dog and Atlas-legged robots by Boston Dynamics. And this isn't due to the age of the movie. It's because Spiderlegs uses a fundamentally different style of locomotion than Big Dog. It's a static walker, where at every moment in time, the robot is statically balanced. Only a very few animals use static walking. The lobster is one such animal, as it needs to stay balanced to fight off the sea currents and not be swept away. But that's lobsters. Most animals and people walk with dynamic balance. That is, for a brief instant, they are essentially falling. Dynamic balance is computationally intensive, hard to model, and requires significant sensory motor coordination, so it's been a hard problem to solve. Plus, the consequences of an error in calculation generally leads to the robot falling and damaging itself and its surrounding, which encourages roboticists to play it safe with static walkers. See my review of Pacific Rim and exoskeletons that was in Science Robotics for more about legged locomotion. Third up, lack of reliability. For me, the realistic part of the movie was when the robot broke. Robots do that. A lot. Just like when Dante broke, Carnegie Mellon sent a roboticist down to fix the robot that was in the volcano because it was too dangerous to send in a volcanologist. Whatever. The roboticist clipped a rope to it so that a helicopter could lift Dante out. Then the ring the rope was attached to broke and Dante went splat. Eventually they got her out. Fourth, coffee. Last but not least, it's true. Roboticists love coffee. When one of the USGS scientists goes all bouncy with excitement over the good coffee from Linda Hamilton's quaint espresso shop, I thought he was one of my very own grad students. Is Dante's Peak a great milestone in cinema? No. It's simply the standard disaster movie with all the special effects, intense music, stilted dialogue, and predictable twists that continually place the characters in unrealistic danger that we've seen 1,000 times before. But it is fun, and it does have a realistic robot. So watch it with the family, and to paraphrase Buzz Lightyear, think about how walking is really falling with style. My recommendation, grab some popcorn and the kids for family movie night. Mount Kilauea in Hawaii is erupting, so it's the perfect time to dust off Dante's Peak and watch Spider Legs, the robot, walk away with the movie.